AV in your ears, that's Ambush Being, giving you this audio visual down the most interesting street in the world. With my voice, Steve, Fascination Street. You already know, let's get it. When you whip in the Fascination Street, what do you...
Hey, all you cool cats and kittens. It's Carol Baskin, and you are listening to Fascination Street.
Yeah, AV in your ears, that's Ambush Being, giving you this audio visual down the most interesting street in the world. With my voice, Steve, Fascination Street. You already know, let's get it. When you whip in the Fascination Street, what do you...
Welcome back, Streetwalkers. This is a return appearance with previous guest of the show, Rich Manley. Rich is an actor and, wait for it, an illusionist. That's right, he's a magician. In this episode, we barely talk about his acting career almost at all because we're focusing on his illusionary adventures. Rich Manley, the adventure illusionist and explorer, has a show on Tubi. It is called Culture Shock. Season 1 came out a couple of years ago. There are 6 episodes, and it is some crazy, wild stuff. They are currently filming the second season, and you can expect that to come out probably towards the beginning of next year. But in this episode, we talk about some of the places he's going to be going for season 2. We talk a little bit about how he got into magic and some of his favorite illusions. We also talk about his live stage show, Diary of Magic. He will be touring around the world, starting in the U.S. and then going to some of the more tropical destinations with this show. So make sure you check out where those are going to be and go see him in person doing some really insane stuff. And also, Rich has designed his own deck of playing cards. There's 3 different price points for these playing cards, and there is some illusions included in 1 or 2 of these options. That said, we do have a giveaway on this show. Pay attention when we start talking about his playing cards because we're giving some away. That's right. Rich C. Manley and I are teaming up to give away 5 decks of these sick playing cards. Follow the rules. They're very simple. Do the thing, and maybe you can win a deck of Rich Manley playing cards. They're pretty cool. He showed them to me on the screen. They look amazing. They look really old. They're made by the Bicycle Playing Card Company, so you know that that's a quality product. And they're endorsed by not only Rich Manley, but me, and we don't endorse garbage. Check out Culture Shock Season 1 on Tubi. Anticipate Culture Shock Season 2 on Tubi. Check out the touring show of Diary of Magic. And don't forget to enter for a chance to win 1 of 5 brand new playing cards. These are brand new. Nobody you know has these things yet. So enter for a chance to win, and maybe you will win them. And this is my second conversation with actor, magician, and adventure seeker, Rich Manley.
Prepare to be fascinated. Prepare to be fascinated. Prepare to be fascinated.
Welcome back to Fascination Street Podcast. Rich Manley, how you doing, man?
I'm doing well. I'm doing pretty good. I'm glad to be here.
We're glad to have you. Ladies and gentlemen, Streetwalkers, this is Rich's second time on the show. The first time was released 11/30/2020. So we're not going to do the whole where did you come from, how did you get there thing, because you can go back and check that out in his first episode. But what we are going to do is we're going to catch up, man. It's been 4.5 years, 5.5 years, or so. It's been 4.5 years.
Yeah.
Whoa, what's going on, man?
Things are happening. You know, I just had this show come out on Tubi, Culture Shock. I've been working on that. You know, I've been working on other projects. I just had a deck of cards come out that I'm selling in conjunction with the show.
Wait, you have your own deck of cards now?
I've got my own deck of cards, yes.
Oh, we're going to get there for sure. So when you were on last time, we talked about your show, Culture Shock, but it was Culture Shock and then a bunch of words?
Yes.
Is it still Culture Shock and a bunch of words?
It's still Culture Shock and a bunch of words, but the bunch of words is bridging cultures through magic. I don't know if that was the same bunch of words, but that's a bunch of words it is.
Okay, so when we talked 4.5 years ago, you had made this show, and I think back then it was for Tubi, right?
Yep.
And now you guys have the green light to shoot a second season. Is that correct?
Yes, second season. I'm actually leaving June 6th to go to Bolivia.
Oh, snap. So where was the first season shot?
First season was in Peru, Andes, Amazon. Then we went to Africa. We went to Namibia. We went to Ethiopia. We shot some of the episode in the Western United States. We shot some in West Virginia. So we were kind of like all over. And this next season is really going to be Alaska, Bolivia, Costa Rica. We're going, back to Africa again. And then we've got some other episodes that we're in talks with for potential third season. I don't want to jump the gun, though.
This second season is with Tubi as well?
Yes.
Are you going to come to San Antonio and shoot anything?
Well, tell me, what kind of culture can I experience there?
Have you seen the movie Coco?
Is that the animated movie?
Uh-huh.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so I was born and raised in San Antonio, and when I saw that movie Coco, I know that it technically is supposed to take place in like Mexico, but when I saw that movie, I was looking around the movie theater. I was like, y'all know this is San Antonio, right? This is here? No? Just me? That's what you could expect.
Oh.
It's a very Hispanic culture. The city is older than the country. Like this city is, I don't know, what is America, like 300 years old or something? This city's like 375 years old. So we got a lot of stuff here. We got the Alamo, and people seem to forget that was a losing battle, but it was still fun.
We could discuss that.
You could disappear the Alamo.
That's true. Or if you like magic over there, then why not? We could talk about it. You and I will have a discussion. We'll see how we can set it.
It'll just be us.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a huge magic culture here. One of the things that I love about magic, and I think I told this story the last time we spoke, is people's reactions. I'm sure that is one of your favorite things too.
Yes.
And there is a particular demographic that seems to be more astonished than maybe some of the other demographics. The only time I've ever seen an illusionist in person, again, I think we talked about the first time, but like basically he put an egg in his pocket and turned it into a live chicken. And the people that were there that saw that, I've never seen such a reaction to anything in my life. It was amazing just to watch the crowd after that happened. When did you first know that you were going to pursue magic? I don't want to say exclusively because you do some acting and some producing as well, but when did you know you were going to focus so much on magic?
I would have to say it kind of happened when I was doing magic in Los Angeles. This was before we really did the travel thing where I was incorporating travel into the magic. But magic has always been something I've done since I was a kid, since I was 10. The reason is because my grandfather was a magician himself. He didn't do it, as a profession. He was taught sleight of hand in medical school to be better with his finger dexterity and hand dexterity. So as a kid, I'd see him go to all these places and travel and bring home all these trinkets of things he'd find in the countries. I remember him showing me a magic trick when I was 10. And so it was a trick where you do a sleight of hand, making a card disappear. And it was very difficult, but I stuck with it. So I had learned that really hard sleight of hand since I was a kid. And I just kept playing with cards. I kept playing with coins. I kept developing these magic effects, reading books on magic. So I just became obsessed after my grandfather showed me that trick. And telling me all the stories of him traveling around the world, I was like, oh, I could be an Indiana Jones magician. Great. So, I kind of fell more into the magic thing when I started doing it at bars and events in Los Angeles. And people would get blown away and they'd say, oh, wow, you're really good. Like, I remember I did it for a Cirque du Soleil group. It was for a business function and it was in Hollywood. And this really stuck with me till this day. And one of the guys that I was doing it for, he said, that trick you just did, you did that better than, I think it was Chris Angel or whatever at the time.
Yo, you better watch your mouth, bro. His producer's listening.
Hey, just so you know, this happened. So he said that, Chris, sorry. I was like, really? To me, it was such just an innate ability that I did magic. So I started to think about it more seriously and say, maybe I should take magic a little bit more seriously because I really, it just had been something that's passed down to me through my family. And I commend all the magicians that truly enter it as a career. And for me, it was always just a hobby and something I learned. But that moment was like, oh, I could kind of turn this into something a little bit more professional because, people are saying, oh, you're good at it. I took that kind of as a badge of, okay, maybe I can actually consider myself a magician at this point.
So you were hired to do magic for a corporate event before you even were serious about magic?
Yeah, it was weird.
How did the word get out? Like, how does that happen?
Because, I used to go to these local bars here in Los Angeles, and in my 20s, I'd have all my magic in different pockets in a leather jacket, and I'd go out and I would just do tricks after tricks, fireballs shooting out of my hands.
Now, were you trying to get free drinks? Or were you trying to get laid? Why are you wearing a magic vest to these bars?
It was probably a combination of those two. However, what ended up happening more often than not was just completely blackout drunk because they'd be giving me shots after shots. And apparently, according to the bartenders, they would say, wow, your magic is getting better the more you drink. And that actually had to be a thing for me, and so they'd give me more shots. And, I remember being on tables, standing on tables, doing magic for people because everyone was just gathered around me and they wanted to see more magic. So the bars were they were like, oh, more magic. And it was this crazy thing. And so that's how word really got out. And like I said, it was just something that I enjoyed doing and seeing the reaction from people, but I never took it seriously. A lot of the sleight of hand that I did was intricate sleights, but, I reused the same classics. It's very true. I think with anything anyone does, when you stick to the basics and the classics of anything is really what marvels people the most. And I found that out, like all the intricate stuff that I practiced over the years doesn't normally work with people because they're like, he's doing all the sleight of hand, but the basic, simple things, those are the tricks I do. People would go crazy. I just word of mouth, people were like, oh, well, you should do this corporate event. This is how much it's paying. And I was like, sure.
I'll be right there.
Yeah.
Let me put on my magic jacket.
Let me put on that magic leather jacket. It's all set up.
Is it heavy? Is it hot?
It was hot. It was heavy. There was tubes, all sorts of crap running through it. It was a whole thing.
How many handkerchiefs?
Let me tell you.
Yes, don't answer that. That's a trade secret. Okay, so season 1 took place in all of those places you mentioned earlier. And now season 1 was based on your grandfather's diary-ish, right? Where he kind of went to the same places and did some of the same things. Is season 2 also based on some of your grandfather's exploits?
So season 2 kind of veers a little bit from that. I mean, it's still following my grandfather's places he went because there were inspirations for why I go there. But it's kind of like passing the torch a little bit. So the first season was, that was the through line. Second season is more, my grandfather loved adventure. And, I've always loved adventure too, rock climbing. And I mean, he actually climbed the Matterhorn back in the day with leather boots and a wooden pielette, like hardcore. He loved doing all those outdoor activities. So a lot of the second season is more geared toward, all right, what are the adventure skills you need to get to different communities? Like in Bolivia, we're going to scale a 6,000 meter peak and, meet these women that are called cholitas. And they're basically mountaineering women that wear traditional Quechua looking garb. It's really interesting. And so we're going to meet the cultures. We're going to do adventures and really focus on the adventure aspect as well as the cultural aspect with magic.
So there still will be magic.
There still will be magic.
But you're going to focus a little bit more on the culture in sort of an Anthony Bourdain kind of way?
Yeah, I would say it's Anthony Bourdain, but, Anthony Bourdain with adventure. I put it that way.
What's the weirdest thing you have eaten on one of these trips?
God. Well, there was one that really freaked me out, and it was these Mopani worms in Africa where they're these crunchy fried worms that are, they're like this big. I mean, they're big worms, and they're like this big around. They're like slugs. They had a whole bowl full of them in Ethiopia, and I didn't know what I was eating at this. They said they had a delicacy for me, and they wanted me to try it at this shop. They brought him forward, and I was talking to my fixer. I said, what in the hell? This is a worm. And she's like, yeah, it's a delicacy. You just dip them in the sauce and you eat it. I kept trying to eat it. I could not eat that. And then one of the guys, the photographers in the crew, he's like, oh, I can do this. He takes it and he eats it, and you can hear the chew and the crunch. And then you see his face just melt away. I was like, oh God. After he said, I would never do that again. It's not what you expect. It kind of explodes in your mouth. It's this crunchy.
Oh.
I remember, they're like, okay, it's your turn, Rich. And I had the worm, I was going to eat it. I put it in my mouth, and then I felt like a jerk, but I could not eat it for the life of me. And then Ethiopia too, they gave me this fermented beer where the guy said to me, oh, by the way, we don't have any antibiotics, but here, and I was like, what? Wait a minute. What does that even mean? That's not a good.
Why are you saying those things together?
Yeah, those two words together are not okay with me. So now this season, basically, everyone, has been saying, let's see what we can find for Rich to eat. That'll be the weirdest, strangest thing in Bolivia. And I said, great, thanks, guys. I appreciate you looking out for me.
Wow. You need a new team, bro. Jesus.
No, what can they put me through?
Gross. Real quick, I want to touch on some of your acting credits. We're going to get back to Culture Shock in a second, but you were in Sleigh Bells with Barry Bostwick?
Yes.
Slay, folks. I'm going to need Barry Bostwick's home phone number. Okay, I'll wait. Okay, so how did that project come about?
I knew a producer at the time, and she was looking to cast this role, and she thought I'd be good for it. I don't really think I really auditioned. They just kind of showed my headshot to the director, producer, the other producer, and then I guess the lead at the time. There's a good chunk to the part, but I mean, I don't want to spoil it, but the character doesn't last long. It is a horror movie, so you can imagine what happens to me. I won't say what, but let's just say my time was cut short by a giant Krampus monster.
When you do acting roles like that one or The Debt Collector, there's no magic in it. You're just an actor. They're not like, hey, come also do magic.
There is a level of that behind the scenes, where people are like, oh yeah, before we, start filming, let's see something. Sometimes I'll be asked to do magic, so I'll do magic, and then sometimes I just want to focus on what I'm doing. So I'll leave the cards at home or something like that. But yeah, people do often ask, oh, can I see magic behind the scenes? But it's normally not part of the project on camera.
Have you ever been in a project where they hired you for acting, but then they were like, holy shit, you can do magic? Let's write some magic into this project.
I think that did happen one time, but it wasn't where I was acting in a project. It was a stand-in thing for, I was doing stand-in work at the time, like way back. I think it was for Ryan Murphy. I remember sitting there, standing in for the lead. I think it was American Horror Story or something. I don't know which project of his. But then he stops the whole shooting, and he's like, "Is that the guy?" It was Ryan Murphy. It's like his thing. It's like, "That's him, right?" And I'm just like, "Yeah, that's me."
What guy?
Yeah, me.
What guy? Do they know I stole something from Crafty? What guy?
Yeah, I know. Should I put that back? And so he's like, "Yeah, that's the guy." And I was like, "Guys, I'm confused. Does somebody tell me what's happening right now?" I thought I was just supposed to stand in, and you guys liked the scene. And they're like, "Oh, the magic guy. Yeah, I want to see something. Everyone's saying you're good at magic." And I'm like, all right, well, let's bring it. So I remember, I did some magic for Ryan Murphy at that point. It was interesting.
And he was so impressed, he never hired you again.
Exactly. So, I think that. I was like, should I give up magic? Should I give up acting? Which one should I give up?
Should you just give up Ryan Murphy?
Hey, Streetwalkers, here's a word from our sponsors. Let's get back into it.
I did mention The Debt Collector, starring the great and powerful Michael Pare. Okay, I'm going to need his phone number too. All right, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for that.
I'm keeping notes, by the way. I'm keeping notes.
I need to know more about your cards. What?
Oh, these cards. These cards, yeah.
So is this like a deck of 52 cards and 2 jokers, and I can play solitaire with them? Or is this a deck that I can whip at somebody and slit their throat? Tell me about these cards.
You can do whatever you choose. If you choose to break the law with these cards, I'm not responsible.
That's not on you? Okay,
it's
cool.
Not on me. But it is funny because, whenever I do talk or, when I'm in the car, I actually always have a deck of cards. So I actually have them right here. This is them.
And I saw that you just threw them from one hand to another, which means they're all connected by string.
Yes, they're connected by a very fine string. But anyway, They're old looking, vintage looking.
Bro, they're so old looking. Oh.
I know. I've had these for centuries, actually, and they just finally came out.
Oh my gosh, that looks like me.
How did you know that I was going to do a caricature of you before the show? Wow. But there you go. That's Magellan. They're based off famous explorers. So all the court cards are famous explorers. The back cards are compasses, and they're designed to look old. But yeah, I'm selling these cards. We just came out with them. USPCC bicycle playing cards.
Oh.
Popped them out for us. So, they're all bicycle grade. And I'm actually going to be using them on a live touring show that I'm doing throughout the States. I'll be performing with these, and then I'm selling them on the website, my website, and also at my live shows.
Why did you decide to come out with your own deck of cards?
It's one of those things that I always wanted to do it. I finally got the chance to really do it, because I'm always playing with cards, and I see all these other card designers and magicians coming out with their cards. David Blaine has his, and Chris Angel has his, and, Dan and Dave, the cardists and flourishers, have theirs. And I was like, I just always wanted to come up with a deck of cards that I could call my own, that I could use for any of my performances that were mine. So that's where they came from.
I mean, even Neil Patrick Harris has his own cards.
Yes.
I just made that up. Does he really? He probably does. He's got everything else. Son of a gun.
I think he has a box set now. He has a game.
Jesus. Of course he does.
Yeah, it's like a board game that he has come out.
Since we're talking about Neil, was he the president when you were performing at the Magic Castle?
No, I was performing after he was the president. So I just missed him being the president of the castle.
Who was the president when you were performing?
Don't put me on that hot seat, because I don't even know. And now they're like, you don't even know who is the president? I actually don't even know.
That's cool. Who's the president now?
See, look at
when is the last time, and have you been uninvited? When was the last time you were in the Magic Castle?
If I have been uninvited, I will be now. Thanks.
I got your back.
The last time that I went, I haven't been to the Magic Castle in probably 4 years or 5 years or so. I mean, the last time I actually performed there was probably 6 years ago. And then I just kind of stopped going, probably because I didn't know who the president was. It just said, stop coming.
So are you not a member? And do you have to be a member?
You have to be a member. I used to be a member there. No, truthfully, I just really got really busy. I got busy with the travel stuff. Culture shock started happening. And so it was just more difficult for me to maintain the membership and go. But the Magic Castle is a great place, and I did love going there and performing there. But yeah, life got in the way with all these other projects. So no longer a member, but one day I will pop back in there.
How much are these cards? See how I'm just jumping all over the place. Let's go back to your cards.
Yeah.
Well, how much are they on your website?
Well, you can get...
No, I don't mean me. I'm special. I mean, what about the normal people?
Oh, okay. Well, in that case, people can get these for $300 or two for $500.
Nice. That's a special Fascination Street podcast pricing, folks.
There you go.
And none of them are autographed.
No, none of them. If you want the autograph, though, that's double. No, there's actually 3 price points on them. And they start at $12 for the pack, for just a regular pack. Then we're doing $17 for a pack plus a download of a magic trick that's incorporated into the cards. The jokers are actually, there's 3 jokers, and you can perform a magical illusion with them, a sleight of hand trick that I teach in the download for anybody that wants to, buy them for that case. And then here comes the signed option. There is a signed option with the download, and we're selling that at $20. So you get a signed deck of these cards, $20 plus the download. So then you can learn this magic trick that's kind of incorporated in it.
The second one, there's a download of a magic trick where you can turn 3 jokers into a trick or whatever. Is there an option where there's 4 jokers?
Well, you just
blew your mind.
Here I was all excited about 3 jokers, and you have to bring in the 4th one.
That's what I do, man.
Yeah, thanks, Steve.
How should we give them away? What should we make the peoples do?
Why don't you do it on social media? Follow Rich on social, but also follow Fascination Street. We'll do like a collaboration between both of us. So follow us both, and you get a free deck of cards. Plus, watch the show. You got to watch the show.
All right. So make sure you follow Rich C. Manley on Instagram. Tag both of us and let us know that you heard this episode. And we will give away 5 decks of cards to 5 different lucky listeners. You got to follow those rules. Follow both of us. Tag us. Say you listen to this episode. And then you too can be maybe a winner of this dope deck of cards. What's the website?
Website where you can buy them is expeditionrich.com. So I've got cards on there. I've got a watch.
Tell me about the watch.
So the watch is actually a collaboration with Escudo, and Escudo Watches is a watch company in the UK. They manufacture all their parts, their Swiss parts. And, I had found them online. I really like their watches. Their watches are more upscale. They sell their watches at premium prices. They're like $2,000 USD watches. But I was like, hey, I'd love to design a watch and utilize your company and the parts you put, all the parts and how you put them together. And so we did. We came up with an Expedition Rich watch as well. And so that's on the site too. So you get cards, the watch. I'm also selling some prints too and photos and things that I take, on all the travels. I'm also doing photography when I get the chance, when I'm not, eating worms or weird things like that.
What about the watch did you design?
It was the scheme, like the color scheme, the logo, the band. The band has that color scheme. It's more of we did like a black and an orange, which is what my logo Expedition Rich really is. It's a black and an orange. So it's a color scheme of black and orange with this more rugged band. They have a lot of, bracelet style. That's silver bracelets that go on them. But I wanted something where you see that little rubber strap like you like. It's like that on the watch, but you can get 3 different bands. You can get a sailcloth band. You can get the rubber band, which is great for if you're going in the water. And then you can also get the bracelet with it too for more of an upscale look.
Nice. You had mentioned that you're going to be using these cards when you're doing a road show, a tour. This will be Diary of Magic, is that correct?
Yes.
Tell me about Diary of Magic. Extra points if you can use the words Chris Angel.
So what do I get for the extra points?
It's good for a discount on the $300 set of cards at your website.
Just in case I need to buy some for myself. Excellent. Fantastic. All right, I'll take that. So basically, Diary of Magic is part of this Wiggle Room Entertainment. They're kind of like the overhead, the umbrella of everything. And that is run by Eric Recker. Here it comes, who worked with Chris Angel.
Oh.
Yes, Recker used to be Angel's producer coming up when they were doing Mind Freak. So that is the Chris Angel connection. And I have actually met Chris too, which is why I said sorry to him earlier.
Yeah, because he's a listener.
Is he? Because...
Yeah.
All right, well...
Previous guest, listener.
Well...
I just made all of that up, but that's cool.
Yeah, that's cool. So anyway, Recker used to be, Mind Freak, the producer for that with Chris. So he developed this touring intimate venues, and it's not just magic. I'm one of the acts in it, but he has a chef, he has a detective in Los Angeles who's this famous detective that was on the O.J. Simpson case. And basically, what all these acts do is they get up on stage for about an hour in an intimate setting. Our first show is in the Lowe's Hotel here in Hollywood. It packs about 60 people, and it's really about that experience. So you're not up on a stage. You've got all these people. We're in the penthouse suite of the Lowe's Hotel for the first month. Mine starting July 12th is my show, and then I'll be there for the whole month into, next month. But basically, it's performing for this small, intimate group. And my show in particular is called Diary of Magic, and it talks about my world travels and the people I've met, the dangers, the experiences, but then showcasing magic from those experiences. For instance, I was in Sri Lanka. I met this shaman who is a member of the Veda tribe. Now, the Veda tribe believe strongly in the dead, so their relatives. They believe that their dead relatives protect them from demons. And they have a very powerful person in the village who's an exorcist. And this exorcist told me the story that he had a girl swallow 50 needles at one point.
Did you say 50? 50?
50 needles. And she swallowed them because she had a stomach ache. And they believe that, if you're depressed, if you have a stomach ache, even if you have a headache, then you're possessed by a demon. And the exorcist has to be called, and he has to exorcise that demon. So the way he did it was he had her swallow those needles. Then he had her swallow a piece of thread. And, he's saying he fetched the needles out with the thread. That was part of the magic effect. And when the needles come out tied on, that means that the demon has been exorcised.
Is this a trick that you can do? Is this an illusion that you can do?
Yes. So basically, I call some up on stage. I say, here's 50 needles. These are what they look like. Take one of those needles, boom, swallow that needle. I've got some thread. and then proceed to reenact.
You pull some unsuspecting fool up on stage and tell them to swallow a needle, and they do it?
I didn't think about, I swallow a needle and then I pull it up, but you're onto something. Maybe I should have them swallow the needle.
Yeah, get idiots.
I think you're onto something. Why am I going to swallow the needle? Why am I putting myself in danger?
Seriously. Don't you do an illusion where like you tell somebody to pick a card and then, I don't know, you turn it into like their tattoo?
I do that. How did you know that I do that? How did you know that I do that?
So here's what you do. You have them swallow a needle and then you turn their tattoo into a dead picture of them because they swallowed needles. I don't.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. I'll get back to you on that.
Take that, Eric Ricker. How did you come to be a part of this Eric Ricker thing? And is the whole thing called Diary of Magic, or is that just your particular?
That's my show within the Wiggle Room. Wiggle Room is the whole touring act where a bunch of acts will go around the country, and I'm part of it. But the whole Eric Recker thing came about, I'd always gone at this magic shop here in Studio City. And I had met this magician, Tony Clark. If anyone knows magic, he's done magic for forever. And I'm sure people will know the name if they're magicians. I had met him. I talked a lot about my travels, and he thought it was really cool. He's like, I really like the angle of how you've come at magic with a story. You have your grandfather, who's the one that taught you magic. He was an adventurer. He traveled around the world. This is a great story, and now you're following in his footsteps. And he said, a lot of magicians these days, thing that's holding them back is the story. That's really important to have as a story, not just the skills. So he introduced me to Eric. Eric loved the whole story as well. And we developed the show together. There's things I can't talk about right now, but we are developing other TV shows for a global big network. I can't even say the name, but I will tell you that something big in the future will be happening involving a big Chris Angel style, Blaine style stunt.
So this will be a show centered around a singular illusion or stunt?
Yes. And a build-up, a lead-up to that.
Okay. So it's not like the Chris Angel TV show where he did all this crazy shit. This will be more like when David Blaine sat in a box suspended above Who Cares?
Yes, exactly.
Like a singular stunt like that.
All right, I'll give it away.
Oh, cool.
I'm going to sit in a chair for 40 minutes, just sit there.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see how you do it.
You're welcome to, have me back on again to document the experience from your point of view.
I don't know, 40 minutes. The audio version of watching somebody sit in a chair for 40 minutes doesn't sound too enticing. Just the audio of it.
Yeah. Well, there's, maybe a bag of chips opening.
Oh,
crinkling.
I love this ASMR thing. Oh, you're going to eat you'll eat Doritos and we'll tell them it's those crazy worms.
Yeah.
Right? So here's what I think you should do. Whenever somebody in one of these crazy countries tries to get you to eat some weird dish, I think you should do the same thing and pull some weird American dish out of your pocket. Like huck a gummy bear at them and see what happens.
That's not a bad idea. I'll bring a pack of gummy bears.
Yeah, you can go, oh, here, it's nice and warm. It's been in my pocket all day, like that.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to write that down because that's a good way to bridge the cultures and make them hate me and never want me to come back again.
Hey, Streetwalkers, here's a word from our sponsors.
Warning. Not listening to Fascination Street podcast may cause unexpected side effects. Side effects may include sudden fits of boredom, irrational curiosity about everything you missed, the inability to name your favorite podcast interview, spontaneous ignorance of obscure celebrity stories, talking to coworkers about nothing because you didn't hear the latest episode. Other symptoms may include excessive use of the phrase, wait, what happened? Chronic seriousness with no trace of laughter or delight, unexplainable urge to scroll aimlessly instead of being entertained. In rare cases, not listening may lead to wandering aimlessly through podcast apps, overexposure to true crime reruns, and thinking you're cooler than you actually are. If you find yourself experiencing any of these symptoms, stop what you're doing immediately and download Fascination Street Podcast. Ask your podcaster if Fascination Street Podcast is right for you. Spoiler alert, it is.
Let's get back into it.
So, all this traveling that you do, are you ever in danger I don't mean like danger doing your illusions or backpacking up a mountain or whatever. I mean, are you ever in any danger from freaking people out because of your magic? Like, does your magic ever get you in trouble?
Yeah, I mean, it does. There are certain communities that really believe that someone has magical powers, that they're to be either feared or revered. So we oftentimes have to tell the community and the fixers that, that, look, this is entertainment. Rich is not here to prove that he is a warlock.
But you are a warlock, though, right? Just for clarity, you are a warlock.
Yeah, but we don't tell him that.
I'll bleep that out.
Yeah, thank you. So basically, yeah, we go, we tell them, hey, look, he's not a warlock. This is just a magic trick. But even then, doing some of these effects, I've had people, run away, and they just keep running. They don't come back. And we're like, well, wait.
Like Forrest Gump running? Like they're still running?
Yeah, they just run. They run. But, the camera's still rolling. I mean, I remember it was in Africa. We had these girls that came up. I did an effect for them. And I had something just appear on their hand. She was so freaked out, she just ran. Like down the road, she kept running. And she didn't stop. We waited because we thought she'd come back. And, we were all like, oh, she's gone. And that was it.
So when you say you had something appear on her hand, was it like a bug or a tattoo? Like what?
You know me too well. Obviously, it's a tattoo.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. It's a tattoo of me, oddly enough. Me as Magellan. It was so weird.
Is that why she was running?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Love that. Rich, what's the name of this TV show you won't tell me about? The one where you're going to do this illusion you won't tell me about.
Oh, the network one.
The secret one. The super secret one.
The secret one. I can't even tell you the name of the secret one because if I tell you the name of it, it's going to give the whole thing away.
Love it.
There you go.
Cool. Everybody, make sure you tune in to all of the networks doing all of the tricks, and maybe eventually you'll see the one that we're talking about.
Yes. And by the way, we're just talking. Whatever I say, we're just talking. I mean, whatever comes out, I can't be, held accountable for.
Such is the life of a warlock.
Yes.
How long is the shoot for Culture Shock Season 2?
The first season, you've got 30-minute episodes. That's going to still have the same format. It's going to be 30-minute episodes. There will be 6 episodes in Season 2. There were 6 episodes in Season 1. And at the end of every episode, which is something that we kind of put in there at the end because we thought it would be interesting, is there's a how-to. So I teach you how to do a magic trick at the end of every episode.
And this is why you're not allowed to go to the Magic Castle anymore.
Exactly.
I don't know if you know this, but fellow warlocks and magicians, they don't really like when their secrets are spilled.
Yeah.
Have you seen the movie The Illusionist or whatever it was called? Like, they'll kill you for that.
Yes. So now you know the behind the scenes of why I'm no longer allowed.
And that's why you're always in danger.
Exactly. I have to watch my back now.
So I interrupted at the end. I'm watching your back right now. So at the end of each episode, you teach us how to do what? I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
No. So I teach everyone how to do a magic effect. I mean, these are basic effects. You can literally buy a book on it. So, the more warlock style effects, you really have to become a member of the community.
The guild.
Yes, exactly. So I'm just touching upon a very fine line of some just basic techniques that you can do at home if you're interested in magic. And again, you could easily find them in a book. They're actually a lot of the effects that I first learned when I was a kid, and I had this little book that I would go through and try to show my parents these tricks. Yeah, it's really how I got started. So I figured, hey, if anybody wants to get started in magic, they like what they're watching, here's a little fun thing you can do at home.
Do you have disclaimers on each episode? Do not try this at home. Like when you're making people swallow needles, you're like, don't try this at home. This is dangerous. Closed course with a professional driver. Don't try this at home.
Yes. I mean, if I'm doing something crazy like that, we tend to have disclaimers. We even do that in the show too. These things are dangerous. Don't try them at home, that sort of thing. Because, I've had experiences where I have tried to do some of these things. They have gone wrong. There's a routine that's notoriously goes wrong, which is, I don't know if you've seen this on YouTube, but you have cups that are in a line, normally it's 3 or 4. And then underneath one of those cups is a spike or a knife or something. And the magician basically is supposed to say, okay, I'm going to smash all the cups except for the one that has the knife under it. And that's gone wrong on me before.
On you?
Yes.
Haha, loser. I'm just kidding.
Way to make me feel great.
I'm here for you, buddy.
Yeah, exactly. But it has gone wrong. So yeah, I have to put a disclaimer for myself as well, I guess.
Here's what you should do. The next time that happens and it goes wrong, you should smash it down with one hand and then you smash it down with the other hand and then you hold up both hands and you go, Jesus Christ.
There you go. You just solved my problem.
It's like Prince. Prince, the guitarist, every time he would mess up, he would do it again so that people did it on purpose. So you just do it twice.
Yeah. Very clever. Yeah. I may need you on some of these magic tricks as a consultant.
I'm coming after your job, Eric Recker.
I know.
You're going to tour with Wiggle Room and Diary of Magic.
Mm-hmm.
So I know you're doing a residency in LA first, but then are you going to tour the US with this show?
Yes. So we're looking at, again, it's Hollywood area is the first one. Then we're looking at Ohio.
That's a wild swing from Hollywood to Ohio.
Yeah. Don't ask me.
Where in Ohio?
I think Cleveland.
Okay.
Then, my hometown, Boston, obviously, Massachusetts.
I think you have to say Baston, but okay.
Yes. The interesting thing is I never got the accent,
Yeah, it's weird. You don't have it at all.
No.
You don't sound like you're from Boston.
No.
You couldn't pack the cat and have it, if you tried.
I know. I never got, and I never even tried to do the accent because I knew it's like one of those things where if I were to try it, I'd probably never lose it. I'd be stuck.
Yeah, you'd just be stick with it.
And everyone would be like, what the hell happened to Rich? So I just never tried it. There's Massachusetts. Then we're looking at Bahamas, Hawaii, and so we get a little bit more tropical, a little bit more, I can, relax vacation. Believe they also want to do potentially Utah, somewhere in the Midwest too. I don't think they have exact dates for the rest of it planned out, but those states in particular are on the list.
Very cool. And where might someone go to find out which cities are on the list or how to get tickets? Huge fan base in Cleveland.
Yes. So the best way to do it would be to go to two websites. You can go to thewiggleroom.com. They'll have it, which is, the whole umbrella. They'll have other shows too, if anyone's interested in other shows in the area. But my personal shows, you'll be able to find out, when they're coming out for the TV side. And then also when the live shows are happening, you go to www.expeditionrich.com and you can find everything there.
So everything Rich Manley is going to be at expeditionrich.com?
Yes, everything about me. If you want more specifics, like on Culture Shock, we do have a specific Culture Shock website. It's www.cultureshockmagic.com. So you go there, you can find out anything you want on Culture Shock.
And where might someone find you on social media if they wanted to follow your exploits? Because you post all kinds of crazy pictures of your travels. So where could they go to find that?
All my stuff on socials is on Insta, and it's Rich C. Manley.
What's the C stand for?
That's none of your business, Steve.
The C stands for secret.
Exactly. Do you know my middle name? Have you done your research, Steve? Do you know my middle name?
I do not know your middle name.
Take a guess. Starts with a C.
I'm going to go with Christopher.
I thought you'd say Christopher.
Because that's my middle name. That's why you thought that I would say that.
Actually, in fact, I thought you'd say Christopher, which is why I have a pull down here. I'm about to do an effect for you that says Christopher. But I forgot to set it up. So
nice.
We don't have
I love it.
Yeah.
It's tattooed on my hand. Wow, look at you go.
But it's actually Craig. So it's Rich Craig Manley. That's what the C stands for.
I would go with Cheddar.
Cheddar. Cheddar.
Yeah.
Cheddar's not bad.
Let's go with Cheddar Manley. Rich Cheddar Manley.
I'm not so sure that is the best ring for the adventure, but I could try it.
I mean, nothing travels better than cheese. All right, Rich, this is getting ridiculous, and I blame 100% me. Everybody, go check out expeditionrich.com for all of the things that we talked about. Check out those super sick playing cards, which I will be purchasing. My son collects playing cards, so I'm definitely going to get some of those. And also, go to Wiggle Room and find out where and when Diary of Magic is going to come to a city near you. The television channel Tubi, which is the streaming network, it's everywhere. Go back and check out the first season and then hold on to your chair until the next season comes out. Do you have any idea when season 2 is going to be released?
We're shooting season 2 all this year, so it's probably going to be released, I would say, January, February. It'll be next year, 2026.
Nice. I wish you all of the luck in your travels. Also, in the meantime, check out Rich C. Manley everywhere on social media. Make sure that when you do reach out and comment and like all of his stuff, that you tell him that you heard him here on Fascination Street Podcast. I will wait for you to text me the phone numbers for Barry Bostwick and Michael Perret. I'll just wait by my phone like we did in the 80s. In the meantime, dude, Rich Manley, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy day and your hectic traveling all over the world, freaking the people out with your warlockness schedule to hang out and let us get to know a little bit more about you on Fascination Street, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, this was fun. Thanks for having me, Steve. Rich Cheddar Manley.
Rich Cheddar Manley. I'm going to call your parents and see if I can get them to officially change your name from Craig to Cheddar.
You probably shouldn't call them.
They would be freaked out if I did. They'd be like, who are you and how did you get this number?
Yeah, they'd be like, who is this guy?
Who's this clown? All right. Rich, thank you so much, man. You have a great rest of your week, dude. I will talk to you later, man. Be safe on all your travels. Seriously, and don't eat any weird fish.
I'll try not to. All right. I appreciate it, Steve. It's always a pleasure to see you.
All right. Bye, buddy.
See ya.
Opening music is the song FSP Theme, written, performed, and provided by Ambush Vin.
Closing music is from the song Say My Name off the 2021 album Underdog Anthems, used with permission from Jax Hollow. If you like the show, tell a friend. Subscribe and rate and review the show on iTunes and wherever else you download podcasts. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. All the episodes are available there as well. Check me out on Vero at Fascination Street Pod and TikTok at Fascination Street Pod. And again, thanks for listening.